In part 4 of this week's lecture, let's take a look at what it takes to develop a high-performing team. Many people are not inherently team players. They are loners or want to be recognized for their individual accomplishments. There are also a great many organizations that have historically nurtured individual accomplishments. How do we introduce teams in highly individualistic environments? First, by making sure that we reward, that we reinforce being a good team player. An organization's reward system must be reworked so that it encourages cooperation and collaboration instead of competitive actions. This doesn't mean we ignore individual contributions. Rather, we balance them with selfless contributions to the team. Promotions, pay raises, and other forms of recognition should be given to people who work well in a team environment. Maybe they train their new colleagues, or they share a lot of information, or they help mitigate conflict. And we can't forget about intrinsic rewards. The camaraderie that employees experience from working with other people can be a reward in and of itself. The opportunity for personal development, for helping other people, can be very satisfying and rewarding for some people. The other thing that we need to do is make sure that we select the right people. Some people already have the skills required to work in a team. When we hire team members or when we put the team together, we need to make sure that people have the technical skills required to do the job, as well as the human skills required to get along and work well with other people. Here is an example of a diagnostic tool, something we might use to measure whether a team has what it needs in terms of members' knowledge, skills, and abilities. These are the dimensions from the teamwork test by Stevens and Campion from 1999. It asks about interpersonal KSAs. Do the members resolve conflicts, for example? If not, we may want the next team member to have experience managing conflicts. It asks about collaborative problem-solving KSAs and communication KSAs. Do the members collaborate with others to collect additional information about the problem? It also asks about goal setting and performance management KSAs, as well as planning and task coordination KSAs. Does the group monitor its own progress and make appropriate adjustments when needed? By assessing a team, we can identify weaknesses and take the necessary steps to mitigate the problem, and through training. Team training typically focuses on teaching people how to work together. The goal of team training is usually to teach people how to work together more effectively. We might teach people how to do other team members' jobs, like in cross-training. We might teach people how to better coordinate their efforts so that they're not duplicating efforts, so they're not wasting time, so that they can make the most of the resources they have. We might need to train the leader how to do their role. We can also teach teams how to self-manage, how to solve their own problems, how to learn from their mistakes so that they can improve for the future. Some of the topics that are sometimes the focus of team training are problem solving, communication, negotiation, conflict resolution, and coaching. Of course, team training is not always going to be the answer, but it does have a special place in developing high-performing teams. In addition to rewards, recruitment, selection, measurement, and training, we need to monitor the development process. Here's one of the most popular models of group development by Tuckman. The first stage is orientation or forming. Members are new to the team and to their role within it. They are just starting to learn about the other members and their roles. Everyone is trying to figure out who is nice, who is not, who works hard, who doesn't, who they want to be around, and who they want to avoid. Members tend to be compliant and agree with one another. Leaders tend to be accepted and in charge at this point. Then, in the second stage, the conflict or storming stage, members prepare to work and begin to disagree with one another. Maybe they don't like the role they've been assigned. Maybe they disagree about how a task should be completed. As a result, the leader, who usually tries to mitigate the conflict, may actually lose power. It usually takes time for groups to figure out how they're going to work together and who is going to do what. In the third stage, structure or norming, members begin to recognize their shared goals, and cohesion grows. Trust begins to develop and communication improves. People better understand where they fit in the group and how the group fits in the organization. The fourth stage is work or performing. This is when the team gets to work. Members are focused on the task and on performing well. They make decisions, solve problems, and cooperate with each other to get the job done. The fifth stage is called disillusion or adjourning. Members have completed their work and are less dependent on each other. They also reflect on their experience. Their reflections, if captured, could help other teams in the future. Some teams will progress neatly through these stages, while other teams will take a completely different path, sometimes skipping stages or going back and forth between two stages. The main idea here is that different stages of development are dominated by different group processes, which produce different types of interactions between members. In order for managers, leaders, team leaders to have a real impact on how well a team performs, they need to understand the team's development and the processes that are at play. A new team cannot be expected to get down to work without first being oriented to the team, to one another, to the task, without establishing norms, without having some disagreement about how the work gets done. All of these different processes, factors, variables need to be considered when managing or leading teams.